So I just finished a book today, and it's kind of a huge deal. It is the first book that I've ever written where I've written from beginning to end and not had to stop before writing the climax. I just wrote one draft. This was the only draft. I didn't do a zero draft. I didn't do a rough draft. I did one draft, and I got from the beginning to the end of the book, and that's the first time that's ever happened to me. So that got me thinking about a lot of things today. And I knew I had to sit down and film a video today, and so I wanted to jump on here and talk a little bit about these things that I know now that I didn't know when I first started writing, that I wish that I had known, because it would have given me a lot of comfort and made me feel less panicky and put less pressure on myself when I was just starting out my career. Obviously, I'm still just starting out my career. I still have a lot to learn about writing. I'm 25. I published my first book when I was in high school at 16, but really started publishing 4 years ago after I graduated from college. I have a published 5-book series, and I've written 7 books in the past 4 years. 5 of them are published, 2 of them are still in the works. One of them is the one that I literally just finished the draft of today, and the other one is one that I am currently editing and am going to start querying at the end of the summer, I think. So I've made a lot of videos on this channel talking about how I never write climaxes in my first drafts. I always get 75% of the way through and then I have to start over. But this book that I just wrote, I wrote the climax of it and I got all the way through and I got to the end and it still holds together. Everything that I wrote really went according to my outline. I discovered some better ideas and ways to approach scenes as I was writing them, but generally everything kind of went the way that I planned, and I guess I planned it well enough that I could follow it all the way to the end, and I still liked it. Like, I didn't get that icky feeling at any point in the manuscript, feeling like, ooh, there's just something about this that's not working for me. It literally worked the whole time, and that was a really unsettling feeling for me. I honestly had it in my head that I was just a writer that couldn't write the climax. Like, that was just part of my process. But the thing I've been thinking about all day is that as hard as us writers try to develop a process, your process will be different with every book that you write, and your process will evolve over time as you evolve over time. When I was just starting out writing, I had this idea in my head that I just had to absorb all of the information and knowledge possible, and that I needed to work towards being a good writer. And a good writer was something that I could just become. Like, if I worked hard enough, I would ultimately be good, and then I can write good books. It didn't occur to me that I would never feel like a good writer, and that the bar would just keep moving as I kept learning. I'm really starting to believe that all artists never truly arrive, and that art and learning to be better at art is just one continuous journey of never feeling like you are good enough at it, but striving to be better, and over time, the things that you create ultimately do become better, even if you yourself don't feel like you're actually, good. Like, I feel really confident in my ability to create a story and to write a novel and to take an idea and turn it into a story that's fleshed out, that I'm happy with. I've done it now a bunch of times, and I feel pretty capable of doing that and pretty confident in my ability to do that. But I also do not feel like I have achieved the status of good writer. I just feel like I keep moving the bar on myself as I learn more, and as I get more confident with the things I do know, I'm able to continuously move the bar to strive to make even better stories, to write better books, and that every book that I write is becoming sharper. After finishing that book this morning, I immediately jumped into editing the book that I'd shelved for the past couple of months just to write this book, and began editing it. And this is a book that I've rewritten already now 3 times, and I'm gonna have to rewrite it again. This is gonna be my 4th rewrite of this stupid manuscript, and I just haven't really been able to find a way to tell the story that works yet. And this is a book where I got halfway through, and then I had to start over, and then I got 60% of the way through, and then I had to make a giant edit, and then I got up to the climax and forced myself to write a climax and sent it to beta readers, and things just weren't quite working still, and so now I have to change a lot about it. And so my experience writing this book is very different from the experience I just had writing the book that I just wrote, and I didn't write those that far apart. I don't think the idea of having one process is right. Right now, where I'm at in my writing journey, I don't feel as though I have a set process. I feel as though I am accumulating different tools to put into a toolbox, and that I can use that toolbox to tackle different projects that I want to work on. I don't have like a set process that's going to spit out like exactly the right book every single time and with every single idea that I have. I feel like it's a little bit different every single time I write it, depending on what the story calls for. But because I've been learning and because I've been adding things to that toolbox, every year and every book that I write, my toolbox expands. Like, I learned a lot writing the book that I just finished, and now I'm going back to the one that I wrote roughly last year. Around this time I started writing it, and I'm able to edit it and change it, and already I'm looking at prose I wrote last year and not feeling that good about it, and sharpening it and digging into it more and pulling things out of it. And that was something I wasn't really able to do last year, but I can do now, and now that book is going to be better as a result of that. So all of this to say, if you're watching this video and you're a beginner writer and you're just starting out on your writing journey, maybe you're writing your first book, do not hold on to the idea that you will ever arrive at the status of being a good writer. I think all of the best writers are constantly learning and constantly expanding and pushing themselves and adding new things to their toolbox and challenging ways that they did things. And intrinsically, as if you're a perfectionist like me, you're going to continue to move the bar on yourself, and that is okay. And I think that can be a really helpful thing, because it helps push you to try to write books that were better than the ones that you wrote previously. And that's how you do get better as a writer. In my experience, I feel like I have a lot to learn, and I feel like I am learning and am getting better at all of the things that I'm doing over time. But I still feel just as insecure about my writing now as I did 4 years ago. But the products that I'm creating are getting better. And so if you are able to keep this mindset of learning and absorbing and start feeling comfortable in the vulnerability and uncertainty of that, I think it will serve you very well. And if my past self were watching this video, the one thing that I would want to tell her is that the one thing that you need to write a good book over time is persistence and grit. If you apply yourself, if you continuously try to learn and to push yourself and to not just be satisfied with what you can do, but to try to get better and keep moving the bar on yourself, the product that you create is going to get better over time, and you are going to grow as a writer. But if you focus on this idea that one day you are going to just become a good writer and be able to have a perfect process and write all of the books that you want following the same process, it doesn't work that way, and you're not going to be happy because you're never going to feel like you've arrived. Keep writing your books, keep pushing yourself, keep learning more things, keep being open to new ideas and to trying things that other writers do that works for them, and keep an open mind when moving from project to project, because as you develop as a writer, you're going to discover new things that work for you. Depending on the project you're working on, not every one of those things are going to work on that specific project. So that's all I got for you in this little impromptu, reflective pep talk of mine that I am filming now because I was thinking about this all day. If you have a second, I'd be super grateful if you could like this video and also subscribe to my channel. My name is Claire Fraze, and I'm an award-winning author who makes videos sharing actionable writing tips that helped me make my own writing better. I'm the author of the 5-book paranormal thriller They Stay series, along with some other projects that have yet to be released that I'm working on. The book that I just finished today has clocked in at 203,000 words, which is the longest book I've ever written. And I wrote it in just about 2 months, and it has just been a crazy ride. Like, I knew I had to go move on to this project that I wrote last year because I really want to query it out to agents. So as soon as I published book 5, that was supposed to be the next thing that I worked on, but I just had this story inside me and I just had to get it out, and I could not think of anything else. And so I just told myself, I'm just going to write the first couple chapters just to get it out of my system. It wasn't enough, and I just got the whole thing out of my system, and now I'm in such a deep hangover that I don't know how I'm going to focus on my other project. All I want to do is go back to that one. I just freaking love that story. But going back to the other one is going to teach me a lot, and it's going to help me mature and all of that really smart stuff. But, I'm just really excited to go back and edit this one. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic week, everyone. And as always, happy writing.